Okay, guys, so first we're just going to review everything that we just said on that previous problem that we did. When we have linear lines and we're trying to eventually graph them, we want those lines written in slope-intercept form, or y equals mx plus b. So we have a couple of examples here. I'll do example 1, and then you guys will do 2. But we have a slope of -5 and a y-intercept of 2. How would I write the equation of that line? If the slope is -5 and the y-intercept is 2, what is the equation for that line? Exactly, -5x plus 2. So y equals -5x plus 2 is the answer for example 1 on number 3, simplify. You guys try number 2. If the slope is 0 and the y-intercept is 3, write the equation for that line. Richard, what did you get for example 2? Oh, sorry. Close, you're very close. So what is our slope again? 0. So you can, like before you start simplifying, you can just go ahead and write that 0x, right? And then the y-intercept was a 3. So you're right, you just forgot to say one thing between the y and the plus 3. What's between them? Equals. So it's not just y plus 3. It's y equals 3. Because 0x is just 0. Anything times 0 is 0. So this can be rewritten as y equals 3. That's the equation for our line. Yes? You do. Good question. You do have to put the 0 because if you didn't, that reads as 1x. Meaning my slope would be 1, which is not the case. The slope is 0. Which, let's talk about that. If a line has a slope of 0, what does it look like? Straight how? All linear lines are straight. Straight how? It's either going to look like 4 or 5. I'll give you that hint. On this page, those two graphs, they're 4 or 5. Yes, horizontal lines have slopes of 0. Horizontal lines have slopes of 0. What do vertical lines have? What type of slope do they have? Yes, undefined. So you know how well, you may not know, but how I remember this, the difference between these two is, if we're looking at 4, I don't rise. I have a rise of 0, but I have a run. And we know that slope, m, is always rise over run, right? So if I have a rise, I'm sorry, in this case I don't have a rise, I just have a run. 0 divided by anything is what? What is 0 divided by anything? 0 divided by 1, what is that? 0. Therefore, in this case, my slope is 0. But on this number 5, if I'm looking at that, I have a rise, but I don't have a run, meaning my run is 0. Can you ever divide by 0? No, it's undefined. In the calculator, it'll give you an error. All right? Okay. Back up here. Back up to the top portion where we're simplifying. Example 3 says slope is undefined and the x-intercept is 2. How do you think I'd write this equation? This one's tricky. Notice our answer, what does it start with? X equals. If we have a line where the slope is undefined, it will always start off with x equals instead of y equals. So in this case, what is x going to equal? Always. Two. X will always equal 2. Good. X will always equal 2 in this example. All right, let's try it. And if you don't really understand how we got x equals 2, it's okay. We'll have an example down below. So now we're going to try to look at graphs. Whoops. And write the equation for the lines. We're trying to look at graphs and write the equations for the lines in this next portion. So let's look at number 1. In order to know the equation for this graph, we need to first know the slope and the y-intercept. Now it's always easiest to find the y-intercept first. So in this case, what is your y-intercept? -2. Good. How do you go about finding your slope? Yes, you count your rise over run from what to what? What are we looking for? Can I just I don't know, 3, 4? What am I trying to connect? Perfect points on the graph. 2 points on the graph, yes. I always like to choose one of my points being my y-intercept. So I'm going to put a point there on that -2. Where's another perfect point here? Right there on that x-axis at 3, 0. So, going from one of these points to the other, it doesn't matter what you start with, but I always like to start with the one on the left. So I'm going to start at the one on our y-intercept. I count my rise to line up with my second point, which is how much? 2. And then I count my run from there. And what's my run? So if my slope is equal to rise over run, what is my slope? 2 over 3. Good. So here, my slope is 2 over 3. So what is the equation of my line? Yes. Y equals 2/3 x minus 2. I want you guys to go ahead and do 2 and 3. Go ahead and find the equations for the lines of 2 and 3. Okay. So, Kaylee, what did you get for number 2? Yeah, the equation. Give me the equation. Exactly. Good. All right, good. So it was 2x because our y-intercept was 0, and our rise was 2, and our run was 1. 2 over 1 means our slope is 2. Good. Any other questions on number 2? Number 3. What did you get for an answer for number 3, Kennedy? Say it a little louder. Yes. Y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 3. So if I pick my y-intercept, which is 3, and another perfect point, I'm going down by 3, which is a negative 3, and I'm going over 2. That's what makes my slope negative 3/2. Any questions on that one, number 3? I just want to touch back on 4 and 5 here, these horizontal and vertical lines. On number 4, this is a horizontal line. We had a slope of 0. Remember, whenever the line is horizontal, the slope is 0. Where is this line touching the y-axis? At 3. So our y-intercept is still 3. What do you think the equation of this line is? We have a slope of 0 and a y-intercept of 3. Y equals 3. Good, because next to the x, the slope is 0. Anything times 0 is 0. So the equation of our line is just y equals 3. What about a vertical line? Remember I said, whenever you have vertical lines, instead of it being y equals, what is it going to be? Yes, x equals. So you have to ask yourself, instead of what the y-intercept is, you have to ask yourself, what is the x-intercept here? Negative 6. So what is the equation of our line? Yes, x equals negative 6. Good. Any questions on this page? So really, I mean, I know you guys did it because I walked around and saw you, but really, this is half of your homework filled in right here. Okay, on the back. We've spent a lot of time solving for a while already, so I don't feel like I need to show you any more examples. So for homework, let's see, which ones? I'm not going to have you do 4. That's just craziness. But I will have you do 1, 2, and 3 for homework. And then I think I'm going to show you one graphing. I am going to graph. I'll show you one last graphing. And then for homework, I want you guys to do 1, not 4. I'm going to do 3. I want you to do 1, 2, 5, and 6. How's that sound? And not 7. And I'll do 3 right now. Okay, number 3. These are blank graphs, Liz. Yeah, we're graphing completely by ourselves here. So, number 3 says 5y equals 3x plus 25. Can I immediately know my slope? Immediately? What do I need to do first? Yes. So what needs to happen for the y to be by itself? Right now it's 5y equals 3x plus 25. What needs to happen? Yes, good. Divide everything by 5. The 5's will cancel, leaving me with y on the left side. And then I need to divide everything by 5. So 3x divided by 5, does that divide evenly? I should just leave it as 3/5 x. So I meant to tell you. All right, so yes, we have 3/5 x, and then we need to divide 25 by 5, and what do we get? 5. So now our equation is y equals 3/5 x plus 5. What is our slope? Good, 3/5. And what is our y-intercept? 5. What is it easiest to start with on our graph? Where do we start? The y-intercept, the 5. So on my y-axis, which is the vertical axis, I'm going to count up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and place a point there. From there, what do I do? Good, yes. Remember, slope is always rise over run. So my rise here is 3 and my run is 5. I'm from my y-intercept going to rise 3, 1, 2, 3, and run to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why am I running to the right? Yes, that's the positive direction on the x-axis. Now, that's only 2 points. Technically, with a linear line, I could draw the line through these 2 points, but I want us to get in the habit of at least having 3 points. Because when we get to a little bit more complex lines, we're going to need 3 points. How do I get that third point when if I keep going up 3 over to 5, it's going to be off the graph? What do? You go the complete opposite from our y-intercept. You go down 3 to the left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Connect those 3 dots, those 3 points, and you have your line. Any questions on how we graph that? All right.